audiobooks here with yet another Thoughts Out Loud session. This is session 42, and things are a little weird this week, or things are a little strange this week. It's not first ODAR 30 in the morning like it normally is, although I did get up at that hour. I woke up this morning at 4:20, and 4:20, and I I had to go into work and be at work at 5 o'clock today because I have altered hours this week. I got a training session that is based on stateside time. I think it's like 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Eastern time or something like that. What's my audio? Oh God, is that better? Sorry about that. I should start that all over. Thoughts Out Loud has no edits. Leave that mess up in there. That's what's supposed to happen. That's why we do it. I'm sorry I didn't check that at first. So yeah, training session on stateside time. I don't know if you heard any of that before. Again, it's not early in the morning. It's actually 2:30 in the afternoon, or 2:45 in the afternoon, and I'm at home. Got off work today at 2 or at 1. Left at 1 because I didn't even take a lunch. Went in at 5 in the morning. Left at 1, and now I'm here at home, trying to take in a little, trying to spend a few hours to kind of just kick back and relax. I'm gonna go to sleep at 4 p.m. and then wake up at 10 p.m. and then start the class, which is from 11 p.m. to 7 a.m. from now on. Weird hours, but I'm kind of excited. I haven't worked nights since like active duty freaking exercises here in Korea. But what else? But yeah, so it's pretty cool because I think like what's normally my evening from 5 p.m. on will be like at 7 o'clock in the morning till about I think about 1 will be kind of my evening time, or my equivalent of evening time, and I kind of want to take advantage of that this week. Um, what I'll probably end up doing is try to meet with some Harris. Rob is here. Rob, I mentioned he does his own vlog called Inside My Mind. He's here in Korea, so we're probably gonna link up tomorrow. I think the wife is making plans with Megan Bowen, a popular YouTuber here in Korea, and we're gonna kind of get together, meet up with her, do a double date, and just I don't know, do lunch at a vegan buffet. Yippee! I'll keep looking over there because I don't have the screen behind the camera anymore. Um, and then we're gonna go and I don't know. I'm trying to figure things out. I got another person who podcasts that I reached out to. We're supposed to link up hopefully Friday evening, and then I have the entire Friday off. So because I'm gonna work 16 hours today, basically, kind of. In any case, um, it's pretty cool. I wish this was lasting longer than a week, because I think it's gonna be cool. The only thing is, my son has a fever. He didn't go to school today. I don't know if he'll be at school tomorrow. And um, there's just some. I feel weird. I feel weird because I'm not tired, but I know I should be sleeping, or I feel like I should be sleeping. That's a weird thing, a weird way to feel. Normally, I get this all set up before before I hit play. But I'm not sleepy, but I feel like I should be sleepy, and I'm not tired, but I feel like I have that feeling that I will be tired soon because if I don't get my sleep pattern right, and I'll be like in class tonight at 3 o'clock in the morning, like nodding off, still with 4 hours left to go. Not something I'm looking forward to. So hopefully I can get to sleep at 4 when I go to sleep at 4. So, but this morning has been pretty great. I really like waking up early in the morning. Like I like getting up and getting out and heading to work at 04:20. Like I just think I don't know that like when it feels make me feel like when the rest of the world is sleeping, I'm already up on the grind. And I don't know if that was the feeling I've always had. I've always liked the mornings like that, but it it's it's the way I'm characterizing it now. Like by the time everybody else gets up, I've already had this much done. What I did this morning when I woke up, the first couple of hours is I listened to a 2-part podcast with Tim Ferriss and Tony Robbins. Now, the podcast itself is a couple of years old. It's right before Tony Robbins wrote the book, or right as he was finishing up the book. Oh, he finished the book. Is money master the game, money master the game, and it's a really long book. It's like 21 hours in Audible. I just bought it this morning, but listening to him and Tim Ferriss talk, really made me feel like I should. Why haven't I been doing this a little more? Like, I listen to podcasts. I don't have a commute. I listen to podcasts as often as I can. I mean, I listen to self-development, Audible books, and things that are supposed to like put you in that better mind state all the time. But I don't think I listen to it enough, right? Like, it's not constant. It's just often. And so, like, every day I go to the gym, or every day when I go to the gym, I'm listening to like Entrepreneur on Fire, which is a lot less excitable than rap music, which is what I used to listen to in the gym. But it's like starting to get there, right? Like, I'm starting to get used to it, and just listen to them talk and listen to these other entrepreneurs tell their story, and it works out. It works out really well. It's just that, God, these lights are starting to kill me nowadays. But you can't really pay attention. Like, I don't have a commute. Sometimes I'm glad I don't have a commute, but sometimes I'm envious of people who have a commute, because they have 2 hours a day. For example, if you got a commute that's an hour a day to go to work, you have 2 hours a day to kind of work on yourself. Like, I was listening to, I listened to a book called The Compound Effect this past weekend. And one of the things he mentioned is like, Jim Rohn was one of the mentors of the author. And Jim Rohn said, if I'm going to, I think it's Jim Rohn, he said, if I'm commuting for 2 hours every day, and I'm listening to an audiobook or a podcast or some of these self-development courses, I'm basically getting, the equivalent of, an MBA in a year or something like that. And of course, that's loose translation of that. You're not getting the MBA, but you're getting a lot of knowledge. You're getting a lot of different perspectives on the topic of entrepreneurship and self-development and efficiency and productivity and motivation. So I really do need to step up my game when it comes to doing that stuff. Why am I suddenly so close to the camera, man? What happened there? Let me back up. Maybe because I was sitting back here when I checked it out the first time. So yeah, that between that book and those 2 hours this morning, I'm really starting to realize, like, I want to step it up with listening to podcasts and audiobooks. Like, I want to turn it up, definitely. I have a real problem with listening to an audiobook and getting to, like, the meat of it and not finishing it. I don't know why. I did it with Purple Cow, Seth Godin. I did it with Invisible Influences. The only ones I finished, I did it with Pat Flynn's, like, Will It Fly? I can't believe it. Like, I didn't finish it. Mostly because I bought that book for just-in-time learning. Was it J-I-L? J-I-T-L? Anyway, I bought it for just-in-time learning because I was getting ready to launch something with my little brother. Once that fell through and we weren't going to launch, I said, okay, Will It Fly is no longer just-in-time learning. I'll revisit it when I'm going to launch that thing that I was going to do with my brother, either by myself or with him, when we get on the same page. Right now, I just don't feel like we're on the same page. So, yeah. So it's just made me realize, I think one of the things that it was, I think the compound effect is what made me start, like, listening more, like, or what has kind of motivated me to spend more time doing podcasts. Like, I've cut out a bit of game time and started to listen to more audiobooks, and especially since this room is set up to where I can just kind of I have a chair, a couch, half couch chair, that I can just kind of sit in and throw my headphones on and just listen to what's going on. And these guys it's getting to the point now where I'm not just listening to what they're saying in the podcasts or in these books. They're making references to other people. I'm taking those references down and I'm looking up those other people and following it on Twitter and following them on Facebook and getting more involved uh, in the community or in whatever communities they are, where I'll run into these circles, because at this point I'm trying to surround myself with more people who think the way I want to think. And I think one of the quotes that was said in well, one of the concepts, I can't think of the quote because I can't call it a quote if I'm going to paraphrase it like to hell. But but one of the things they said was like, you got to pick the people around you. I mean, he took that. I forgot the author of the name. I'll put it in the show notes or the description. I'm sorry, but he mentioned that some people, you can have people around you of all different kinds, but some people fall into different categories, right? Some people are, you can choose how much time you can spend with them. You just have to acknowledge how much time you spend with them before they start turning from an anchor to an engine, or turning from an engine to an anchor. Some people are 3-minute people. Some people are 3-hour people. Some people are 3-day people. And you can just kind of, like some people you can just talk to in the hallway. 3-minute people you can just talk to in the hallway for a little while. 3-hour people you can have a 3-hour conversation with them once a week or something like that. And 3-day people are people you can go on vacation with. And like family vacations and things like that, because they bring that much positivity with them, and they're lifting you up instead of holding you back. And it's getting to the point where I'm starting to I'm like, I don't have anybody that close to me in my proximity. Me and Anthony link up, but that's like once on a weekend. And I really wish I had more people around me in my immediate area that were doing what I'm doing. So I'm starting to seek those people out. But also in the book, in the Compound Effect, I should really find out who the author of that is. Um, the author talks about like how the idea of virtual mentors is not new. It's something. It's basically what I consider Pat Flynn and John Lee Dumas, Neil Patel, Tim Ferriss. I consider all those guys virtual mentors anyway. But I think I can take it to the next level. Even with that mindset, I should probably do more listening to them. And I don't listen to Tim Ferriss's show every day. I don't listen to Pat Flynn's show every day. I don't listen to John Lee. Oh, I do actually listen to John Lee Dumas pretty much every day. But my point is, I can spend, even though those guys aren't in my vicinity or they aren't, around here, and I can't, even if they were, I probably wouldn't be able to get in touch with them and actually use them as mentors. I can kind of use visualize them as, I don't know, like these, what do they call them? These virtual mentors, or these virtual, I don't know, consultants, so to speak, not consulting directly on what I do with my projects and what I do with my life or how I want to pursue my entrepreneuristic journey, but I can kind of use them as like I don't know, like my board of directors, right? Like, imagine what they would say. I remember when I used to listen to Ask Pat, I would hear the question, and I had been listening to Pat Flynn for so long that it's like I could tell you what he's gonna say. And so, most times I would be spot on. He would throw a couple of things in there. I'd be like, oh, okay, great. But I can apply that mentality. If you listen to those guys for that long, if you listen to somebody for that long, you kind of get the idea of their pace and things like that, and the way they're thinking and their thought process, and their outlook on life and on business and things like that. And you can kind of figure out what that you would imagine them saying to you. And it's the same as with close friends. Like, even though you don't talk to them, you can imagine, you say, well, in a pinch or in this situation, Anthony would probably say this. And Anthony's my best friend, for those of you who don't know. And yeah, man, I mean, it's just, I need to further develop my repertoire, or my style, I don't know, my system of listening to these people. I don't know. Just kind of figuring out, like, getting, taking these guys on, or like kind of bringing them into my routine, or my, I don't know, repertoire, not repertoire. This is a great thing about doing stuff with no edits and nothing. You can't think of anything when it's time. It doesn't help because I'm sweating. I got a sweater on, and these lights are on, and I didn't think this was I'm gonna take a walk after this. That's why. In any case, I want to take. I'm going to find time to put more podcasting, audiobooks, self development into my routine and my daily functions, my daily operations. And because I feel a lot positive, I feel very positive with the hours of listening and just contemplating and meditating, marinating on what these guys said over what I got over the weekend. I'm in a much better place, a much more positive place, and I don't know. I think I should ride that momentum into what I do, and I think I'm even more positive about the things I want to do. That being said, uh, we're gonna go ahead and cut this episode off now because I want to go take a walk and kind of listen to more. But before I do that, let me tell you what's going on with the social experiment. I don't even know what to call it, the Facebook social experiment. And so it's not a social experiment, again, really, in that I kind of have an idea of what's going to happen. Like I have a hypothesis, and I guess you have hypothesis with experiments, but there's no real way to measure. But in any case, I haven't really figured out the scientific process of it all and how I'm going to do this experiment. But I said I would go in and interact in these groups a lot more for 2 weeks, and then see if when I share something in these groups where I was getting no traction before, if I get more traction after kind of interacting with these groups for 2 weeks. And I mean, the idea was not to share anything at all, just go in and comment and kind of interact with the people who are sharing a lot more, and comment and interact with them back and forth. But since I was interacting, part of interacting was sharing something else. And so I shared a picture that reminded me of something that I knew one person wanted to see. And it got like 117 likes, still getting more likes every day. And it's definitely the most likes I've gotten on any post I've put in that group. That's after one day of interacting with those guys a little more. So I definitely got to do that with other groups and in other venues. Not quite. It hasn't quite been as immediate reaction as on YouTube as it has been on Facebook. And then again, Facebook might just be a fluke, right? It might just be that that might have just been a good picture. It's just a picture. All people are doing is liking it and saying they want to come to Korea in the comments. But it definitely was. It's the most traction I've gotten after a day of kind of interacting and going back and forth. We'll still keep on testing it and see what's going on from there. But yeah, I want this to happen on YouTube because I would like to get more traction on my Switch, on my Soul Weaver YouTube channel. So yeah, that's where we're at. We're gonna keep that going, consciously making the effort to interact more in the groups. I think it will be very beneficial, and hopefully I can train myself to make that part of what I do without even thinking about it. I want to be in that point where I'm going into those groups, commenting on them, and sharing information, and just having that back and forth with the people in those groups naturally. But for some reason, that doesn't seem real natural to me. I guess I'm even an introvert, even online. So yeah, that's what's going on there. I'll keep you guys posted. We're gonna go ahead and take a walk, do a little bit of listening, and maybe even do like a quick vlog at Konduk Station, because to be off in the middle of the day is nice, and it looks really nice outside. It's pretty great weather, and I got a couple hours before I need to crash, so might be something we do. All right, we'll see you tomorrow in the next Thoughts Out Loud experiment. Things are going to be a little weird because I'm probably going to go to the class and then do the Thoughts Out Loud experiment after. It's really strange. Or maybe I'll do it. I don't know. I don't know what I'm going to do. I'll figure it out. But either way, I'll make sure I do it as often as possible, as often as I can, because Thoughts Out Loud is part of my daily routine, whether it happens in the morning or in the evening. And so we might even bring a little bit more structure to Thoughts Out Loud in the next few days. So stay tuned. Subscribe, like, be back tomorrow.